Okay, welcome to the TRU-MON show. How are you guys? I'm with Mr. Jimi Brent and Mark Queen tonight from Las Vegas. How are you guys?
Good, good. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm
Great.
great. Good to see you. Good to meet you. Good
Yeah.
to be on the show.
Yeah, I wanted to have you, Jimmy, because you have a big background and a lot of stuff. And also, you've done videos on YouTube, like we do. You said you've done it a couple of years ago, and you have a big political background, and you have a lot of contact in the truth movement. Like you know a lot of people, so I wanted you to share also your flat Earth awakening realization, how it came flashing in your face and all that. Maybe you can share with us a bit of everything. So I'll let you go ahead and
Okay.
start.
I'll just kind of drop back a few years. My beginning of my awakening started around 1990. And I became aware of, first of all, I became aware of the banking system, the Federal Reserve System, and the scam that whole thing is. And that led me to, down the road of research and reading books. And then I found out about this newspaper. There was a weekly newspaper called Contact. And this newspaper was writing about all kinds of super interesting things, everything from Tesla technology, secret underground bases, um, hidden technologies of all kinds, history, archaeology, all the things that we have not been educated on and that have been hidden from us, for who knows how long. Anyway, this really piqued my interest, and for a couple of years I followed the newspaper, and then I thought to myself, you know what, I want to be involved with this because this is just so incredible. People need to know about this, and I want to do everything I can. So I kind of left my yuppie lifestyle and moved to California, and I became the business manager for the newspaper for 5 years. And during that time, we wrote some incredible things. We had a lot of people that were in certain alphabet soup agencies who would share information with us kind of on the sly because they didn't like what they were doing. But once you're in one of those organizations, you're in and there's no way you're getting out. So they wanted to do their part. That was their way of sort of trying to balance their karma with the things that they were forced to do that they didn't want to do. And as a result of that, we learned a lot of things about the inner workings of how, governments and secret organizations operate. And we wrote about it. And then we had guys like David Icke. When his first book came out, of course, we read it. We heard about it from some of our subscribers. And we thought, this guy's great. He's really onto a lot of stuff. He was talking about the royal family in London, and we knew about that already, and this was confirmation for us and also somebody else that was willing to stick their neck out and start talking about it. So we backed his book, we advertised it in our newspaper, and when he came to Los Angeles to do a presentation for a group, he decided he wanted to come up, and we were a couple hours from LA. He drove up to visit us, gave a presentation over a whole afternoon, and I had the privilege of him staying over at my house when he was there. We got to chat about a lot of things, and he would say, he said, I give a seminar, and it's usually 20 or 30 people show up, and by the time I get done talking, there's 3 or 4 left. So that was his beginning.
Probably, I don't doubt it.
Yeah, it was tough for him,
Yeah.
when he first started, but he never quit. That's one thing I really admire about David. He's been,
That's
they went after him with a
that's
vengeance. They ruined his
he,
career. They blackballed him in everything that he had previously done because he was a sportscaster before that and well known and well liked. But everybody, he was vilified in the media, and they said he was crazy. He lost his mind, and so he basically really had to struggle for many, many years just to keep this information flowing, but he never stopped. So I really appreciated that. And then we had
that's the one thing I get from David Icke is he never gave up, and even back then the people were not awake like we are today. So imagine you go and tell your stuff about the royal family shape shifting, and come on, he's been ridiculized many of times, but he never gave up. He's still
Yeah,
there.
that's right. And back in those days, I mean, if you would ask me, was there any chance for humanity, I would have said 0 to none, because there were so few people. We probably had 15,000 subscribers worldwide, and that's just a small little drop in the bucket. And very few people would be open to any of the subjects that we wrote about. So it was very frustrating on that level. But now I'm very much encouraged because within the last 5 years especially, we've seen a huge expansion of awareness, and more people are coming into the truth because I don't know if it's a vibrational shift or that's what people talk about, but something has changed. Something has opened up for people to actually be able to comprehend and take in this information and not freak out over it. We're still not there yet. We're a long ways away, but it's much more encouraging now than it ever was. So anyway, we had people like Jordan Maxwell used to come up and do presentations with us. He was just amazing and wonderful. His background, I'm sure a lot of your listeners are familiar with him, so I won't go into it, but he was an amazing guy. He's still working, and I heard that he's living in Las Vegas now, so I'm going to have to try and find him.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he's still out there trying to do it. I mean, they went after him with everything. They took basically all he had, and then a few years ago, a guy came in and said he was trying to help him, but actually what he did, he stole his website and he stole all of his material. And
Yeah, his website got stolen too and stuff like that. Huh?
So this guy is selling Jordan Maxwell's stuff, and people think they're buying it from Jordan, but they're buying it from this other guy. It's really sad.
And I don't know Jordan Maxwell. What was the core of his thing? You don't need to go deeply into it. Just let me.
Oh, Jordan Maxwell's a great man.
Yeah, his background, when he was a teenager, his uncle worked at the Vatican, and every summer his uncle would come home and all the men would sit in a separate room by themselves and they would all talk about world politics, and his uncle would tell everybody what's really going on because, you know, the Vatican has got their mitts and everything. And so he heard a lot of this information about the, you know, the workings of the Vatican and the Jesuits and things like that were going on. And this intrigued his interest in symbology. And really what Jordan is most known for is interpreting symbology and all the symbols and sigils that are used in the corporate world and governments on our money. I mean, most people don't know there's a little owl on the dollar bill, on the American dollar bill. It's in a tiny little corner. You need a magnifying glass to see it. But an owl has always been the symbol of a lot of the elites because the owl can see in the dark. In other words, it knows what's going on even when other people are in the dark.
Oh, that's something I never heard before. An owl can see in the dark.
Yeah.
It's the first time I hear that.
Yeah, and then also Bohemian Grove, if you're familiar with that, in California, where all the rich elite muckety mucks go and, you know, with their decadent behavior, they have a giant 40-foot owl there, and they do rituals around this owl. So, you know, the owl plays a part in all these psychopaths that run the world. And so they put that in the dollar bill, and most people don't even know it's there. But Jordan is the one who made us aware of that.
Well, I'm sure if the owl was alive, they would also have sex with it.
Yeah, undoubtedly. These people are extremely perverted. Then the other person, or two people that your listeners may be familiar with, would be Mark Phillips and Kathy O'Brien. Kathy O'Brien, of course, was an MK Ultra mind control victim. Just when I met her and Mark, it was a wonderful experience. I met them many times, actually, but they're very warm and beautiful people. They wrote a book called Transformation of America. This TRANCE, Transformation of America, where she disclosed her whole background of, you know, how she was programmed, and she names names of all the politicians too who were using her and her daughter. It's really a tragic story, But Mark came along and he saw her and her daughter, and he basically kidnapped them and helped deprogram Kathy and her daughter, which took a long time. And it was because he really loved her and cared for her that he hung in there and got the job done. Because if you've studied any of that mind control programming, it's so severe and it's so difficult to break through those blocks that they put in there.
What a dedication a person will have to help someone else to come out of the mind, because that's not a joke.
No, and there's very few people, psychologists or psychiatrists, to even understand the technology that's used in these mind control victims. So it took him a long time to find help, and but they finally did it, and you know, she's doing great, has been doing great for many years now, and they still travel around and lecture and try to share this information with people. These programs are still ongoing. They've changed the technology somewhat from what I hear. It's not as much torture-based as it is chemically-based now, because it used to be that they would have to use extreme torture to create the multiple personalities. But it's tragic and should never be allowed to continue. And then as far as the flat Earth goes, probably I would say maybe a year and a half ago, or a little longer than that, I first saw Matt Boylan and do his video. Yannick, I'm sure you've seen that one, right? Where he's sitting on a couch.
Yeah, of course.
He's talking about NASA. You know, that's the one that first sparked my interest. And you know, I remember seeing it and I thought, wow, I've never heard that. And I kind of just filed it away in my mind as, you know, that's possible, you know. But I never really researched it at that point. And then in February of last year, I saw Mark Sargent's Flat Earth Clues, and oh my gosh, as soon as I saw that, I watched one after another immediately. I couldn't stop because I knew it was right. I absolutely knew it beyond a shadow of a doubt. I never questioned it once I heard it and saw what he presented. And then I started my path of researching the Flat Earth and got into Eric Dubé's stuff and his wonderful work. And then it became so blatantly obvious. I mean, and then the fake NASA, you know,
it's
stuff.
just so obvious when you stop looking at it and look with an open mind. It's just so obvious.
It really is, and there's just no doubt. I mean, anybody that can look at all that information, and really the science is on the side of flat Earth. That's the amazing thing, because NASA has only got you have to take their word for it. They have no proofs that they can show you. They just have their CGI video and their CGI photographs that are completely fake. They have no solid science at all. And so it's pretty remarkable that that kind of mind control worked.
Yeah, what struck me often is people that wants to debate the flat Earth. Like, I've been invited to not a radio, but it's an internet show in France, French radio show in France, and I don't know. I think I don't know how they're gonna deal with that, but there's a big blue ball on the front page of their website and all the stuff. So I might shake their world a bit, but they want me. They said they would be, so I'm gonna go and deblaterate my stuff there. But for sure, it's just so obvious, and you just have to stop and question it, and you're gonna see the bullshit.
Good for you to do that. I wanted to say, you know, all these people that Jimmy was mentioning, how can we get them? You know, they believe in the deepest controversial conspiracies, whatever realities, but then when it comes to flat Earth, they still are very mute. I mean, how are we going to bring them into it? Because this is so obvious. This is more obvious than anything they're talking about.
That's what I told my son the other day. It's so much more obvious than anything else, than any other conspiracy, because I can tell you about 9/11 that it's an inside job, which pretty much everybody knows now. If you don't know it's an inside job, hello. Come on, it's the base and the truth. You gotta know 9/11. But I'm not
are you kidding? Do you know how many people don't know and deny it, even though they're political, even right now?
I know,
whatever.
But once you start once you start and seeking the truth and all that, you're gonna come into realization that 9/11 is an inside job, and it just makes
Of
sense that
course.
it is because that's it. And once you realize that this whole thing is crap, well, everything else come after me. But I think it's a step we have to take to realize all this is we have to go through all those conspiracy. But flat Earth is just so obvious. You just look where you stand. It's not moving. Look outside. You can go see and look at the sun. I'm not asking you to go to ground zero and dig the ground for explosive proof. That's not what I'm asking you. Just go outside. Use your eyes. You have eyes like me. Everybody have eyes. So we should all be able to open up our eyes and look at the sun and realize that it's impossible, that it's 93 million miles away. But only that it's so freaking huge. Look at the size they tell you it is. It's just nonsense. Nonsense. So, yeah.
Well, I had a conversation with someone today that I just turned them on to the flat Earth stuff on the airplane when I was traveling to Las Vegas. The entire 90 minutes of the flight, I completely talked his head off about flat Earth and all this stuff around it, like the participation of Vatican and the UK family in keeping the humanity completely in blindness and everything. And he was completely quiet. And it seems that he went and saw a lot of the footage. And then today he was questioning me and he said, look, if it is really flat, how come they don't put a laser here and the laser 60 miles away and then the two lasers meet? I said, look, we have only come upon all this exploration during the last year, and there are millions of people, hundreds of people that are doing experimentation. And he said, well, if they have done it over 10 miles or 12 miles, that's not an indication of the flat Earth. I said, no, they're doing it all kinds of distances, and we have to use each other's knowledge. We don't have to go and make the measurement to prove that it's flat. It's very obvious it's flat. Why don't you accept the globe model as reality and never question it?
But also that there's more, I think, than just the flat Earth. Like I said, the last hangout, it's okay now. We're awake to the flat Earth, but what's next? Because there is something else hidden, bigger. I agree. The flat Earth is probably a big conspiracy, probably the mother of all conspiracies. But there's something else associated with that I think they hide me. You can give me your point of view on that, because I am convinced that they hide land, or there's more land, there's more hidden than what. Because now we just, like I said the last hangout, we just took the globe and we squished it into a plate, and that's the land, the same land mass and everything. So hello, there's something wrong here.
Yeah.
There's more land. Why would they just take the globe, make it flat? Don't think I, for once again, I believe that I go put down the flat Earth or anything like that. It's not that, but that's what it is. They took the same land mass and put it onto a flat Earth map. So that's what I'm saying. There's something wrong there. There's much more than that. I'm sure it cannot be only that. It cannot be where we stop in our truth quest or stuff like that. There's more than
Well,
I'm convinced, more
well,
and more. Day
since
by day, I get more intuition as the day
yeah,
goes on, and I'm like, there's got to be something more.
well, since our last conversation, am I echoing? Am
A
I
little.
echoing? Okay, since the last conversation, I also saw this map of maybe 1800s that
Yeah.
it was a flat Earth map, all the land masses in the middle, and then there were all these pieces of land all outside of Antarctic. So
You
it is,
know,
these pedophile, greedy psychopaths, of course they want more land. And even if they have squished the globe into making a landmass for the flat earth, or whoever that has done it, that map is also wrong, because it is very possible that even inside of this round earth they're hiding land, because we don't have the tools to go find if there is more land after Africa or whatever. So
that's exactly what I'm saying. I think it's okay, there could be other lands outside the ice, could be other puddle or something. But me, I'm talking inside the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah,
It's so
okay.
freaking huge.
I hear you.
Come on, there has to be land in
Yes.
there. Why would it be water, water all the way, and nobody ever traveled and this and that? Why? There's a reason. There's a reason to all that. What do you think, Jimmy?
Well, it occurs to me that it could very well be beyond the ice wall, but beyond that region, lots of land out there. And one of the reasons I kind of think that is because many people have talked about seeing a second sun. And then some people say it's Nibiru, Planet X, all this other stuff. But think of it this way. So we have our own sun that circles above us. There could be another sun that makes a bigger circle way out there that occasionally is seen somehow in our realm, and people will say it's a second sun or it's some other planet X or whatever it is. But there could very well be a series of suns and possibly moons that just go in a bigger and bigger circle, and there could be even more circles out there. We just don't know. And then also, when you talk about hidden
Nobody
things,
knows. That's the thing. That's what I say all the time. Nobody knows that.
Yeah, and there's definitely technology of some kind that's guiding all this stuff, as well as when you think about just the way we come into this world, basically our memory gets wiped. How does that happen? And why does that happen? Something is causing that. That's a huge thing too, if we can ever figure that out and uncover why is it that we don't bring in with us, all that we are.
This is, to me, the big conspiracy of all time.
Yes.
It's wiping our memories. It's against us, the biggest conspiracy.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Well, and Jimmy and I made a video yesterday, and the first point was that we have been taken away from our essence, and whatever that essence is, it has been lost in this whole mass three-dimensional unconsciousness. And if we recognize that that's the first thing, that's the first thing for us to realize that we are way more empowered than who we are, and then followed by the flat earth and all the other ones, maybe we can unravel this whole puzzle of humanity.
I think it's a good path. We're on the right path for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
It's
also what you were saying about more land inside of the Antarctic, that's why I've been thinking about it a lot. I'm very, very sure there are lands that no humans have seen. And, I mean, if they own all the airplanes of the world, I mean, who owns the airplanes? I mean, personal jets cannot go to destinations that are not designed by the government anyways. Everything is under government control. So of course there are some things that are completely off of the radar.
For sure. They have an army base hidden. Don't you think they don't have something else?
Probably quite a few.
For sure.
Probably a lot
Quite
of
a
them.
few. Quite a few.
Not to mention that, a lot of people have talked about the Nazis having bases down there from 50, 60 years ago or more. They've been in that region for a long, long time, and a lot of people speculate that that's who Admiral Byrd ran into when he took his expedition down there. And of course, we knew they had, super advanced technology with these Foo Fighters and these, anti-gravity craft that they had in the 30s. So this is so much we don't know. We're in such a controlled environment as far as the information we're exposed to.
Really,
that could be another reason that they had to do such a mass genocide in Germany by killing all of them and now keeping them under it's like they're in prison state of some. I had no idea that Germans live under such a pressure, and it seems that of course Hitler knew about the flat earth because he was doing his own expeditions in Antarctic, and because they were very advanced in sciences, that's why when the Allies being, I will talk softer, maybe the echo goes away. When the Allies, Russia, United States, and the United Kingdom took over and raped the entire Germany, they also also raped and and brought all their scientists here because they were pretty advanced. And we have to be very, very careful about putting the Nazi in the dark, because that's exactly what the system wants.
True. True.
True, for sure.
Well, I
No,
mean,
there's
there's a
a
lot. There was a lot of control there too, Yet at the same time, I mean, the entire Jewish world, the power is because of that lie over there.
Yeah. And that's by design. When you go back and look at the protocols of the learned elders of Zion,
Yes.
yeah,
which
yeah.
were written over 100 years ago, that plan was laid out to create Israel and all of that back then. And then in 1917, with the Balfour Declaration, which the British basically gave that land, Palestine, over to these Zionists to create Israel. And this was a plan that was in effect for many, many, many years. And World War II was definitely a part of making that come to fruition, because they had to create the sentiment, oh, the poor Jews have to have a homeland, because they're so persecuted. You know, and when you understand,
the Jew story. There's a lot to say on that, because every time you touch the Jew subject, you're like,
oh
oh,
yeah,
the poor little Jew, and that's the image we've been taught. That's another thing we've been under brainwash. Là. Mon petit juif. My mother used to say that. Oh, mon petit juif. Hey, come on, they're at the bottom. They're probably at the origin of all that.
well, most people don't understand that the vast majority of people that call themselves Jews actually are not Semitic people at all. They're Khazars. They're from Khazaria, and Khazaria adopted the Jewish religion around 700 AD, and they migrated all over Europe and other parts of the world. And those are the ones that are known as the Ashkenazi Jews, and they are very, they have their own apartheid even with Jews in Israel. The Sephardic Jews are treated as, as less than, and they're the ones that actually have the Semitic roots along with the Palestinians in that region. So it's just crazy. And the Khazars were known for being ruthless business people. And anybody that traveled, had a caravan that went through their land, they would take at least 20–30% of their goods as tribute just for the privilege of going through their land. I mean, that's the way they operated, even if they didn't kill you for it, So the mindset of that culture has been pretty evil for a long time, and it's carried through until today.
Also, there's a reason why they're so wealthy. Also, is because the money they use, like before a Jewish person will let go of their money outside of the community, it will pass around 10 hands inside the community, inside themselves, before it goes out. You know what I mean? The dollar or whatever they use as value. So that's why
Yeah,
they're
and
so wealthy also. But the real Jew, I believe, are in Ethiopia, no?
Yeah. Also, we really have to always delineate when we're talking about groups like this, because there's plenty of Jewish people that have no clue about any of this stuff. They're just as mind controlled as anybody else, and they're not involved with the actual planning and execution of a lot of this really nasty stuff. It's just like in the United States. There's a lot of good-hearted people who just have not a clue about what's going on, but they have, they're good people basically. They're just ignorant of what's happening and what has happened.
But
So,
ignorance is dangerous.
It is, and now there's really no excuse for it, because all the information is out there. But people are so busy being in survival mode and working their jobs, trying to make the rent payments or their house payments and take care of their kids, that and both parents usually have to work now. So it's tough for anybody to have free time to even look into this stuff, and they're really not involved. It's just,
we don't even have time to think, Jimmy.
oh, it's so true. And those of us who are really passionate about this, I mean, we spend as much time as we can learning, because we just have that fire in us for the truth and for freedom. We're not giving up for anything. But even we're limited in the amount of time we can spend on, researching and looking at things, because we have to make our way in this crazy world.
Well, I cannot even catch up with the number of truth and factors and research that's coming up on flat Earth, let alone with the Jew world order and the pedophile. It's too much information. I mean, of course, and that's by design too. I mean, the
Yeah.
design is that to keep the mind so busy all the time that you can, at some point, you will just give up. It's like, okay, I can't deal with it. And in my own life, I have come to those senses that, oh God, okay, I don't think I can deal with this anymore. You know, it's affecting me in the wrong way. But then something that holds me up is the passion for the truth that holds me like so stronger than anything else I've ever done.
Yeah,
So why
for sure.
not? You
For
know?
sure, but the flat earth triggered it for me. I had passion for the truth before. I was researching probably for a year and a half before I came in contact. I went through David Icke, Michael Tessarian, Jordan and Maxwell, named them all, everybody on YouTube. Read all the books. I did all kinds of research before I start coming here. Now, come on, I said the day I show up on YouTube, I gotta be strong like a lion. There's no joke here. I'm going in the lion den. I gotta be a lion when I get in there. So I said I gotta research. So that's what I did. But yeah, there's just so much. But the flat Earth was what triggered for me to come out and speak on YouTube, because I'm like, come on, they're lying on the shape of the earth. And sometime I'm alone in front of the mirror and I'm laughing. I'm like, come on, don't they lie on the shape of the earth, the place where we all live on. We've been lied to about everything in the world, and nobody's yet. Everybody goes on to their little business, go on with the little religion or whatever, but they never. And there's people that will never wake up. But
Yeah, that
that's
was the
like
title
that's
of
a
the
strange world.
video. That was the title of the video that Jimmy and I made yesterday. It's time to wake up. Everything that we know is a lie. It's like everything that we know is a lie. And then
It's
it's
like
just too
once
much.
you
Yeah, go
it's
ahead.
more once you realize it though too, that everything you've been taught is a lie. It's like you wake up, you want to do research and you want to connect with people, mind-like-minded people like you and like we're doing tonight. You just want to exchange with people. You want to connect with the world. Come on. I never felt so alive. It's the greatest time to be alive.
Yes.
That's why I say all the time, rise and shine your light. It's such a must, such a must. It's not even a question. It's, come on, we're part of a whole. Wake up
Yeah.
and live.
And you know what keeps me going is, I think about the 100th monkey syndrome or the
Yeah.
butterfly effect, and see, that's what we need to get to. And we don't need a majority to get there, but we need to get to that tipping point where all of a sudden this is going to go viral in a massive way. And I think we're
Yeah.
getting closer all the time. And even though we feel so much like we're preaching to the choir constantly, because we're always sharing with our friends and those of us who do see things this way. But there will always be their friends who don't yet, but they will get a clue from them and the things we share on Facebook and YouTube and all the other Twitter, the other social medias. It's reaching out there to many more people than we can imagine. So that's what keeps me going, and I think we have to keep that in mind, that as frustrating as it is and it is seemingly impossible, the task seems, we just have to keep going. And as we multiply our effects and more people become awake and aware and begin to do what we're doing, we're going to get there. And at some point,
And
it's going to happen.
it's important also, Jimmy, for the small channels like me, like other people, to keep going, because there's a lot of channels. Oh, I found something too. Did you know, guys, that you can buy subscribers on YouTube and you can buy views too?
Yeah, and
So,
Facebook too.
whoa, that makes the game shifting from a total different point of view. Now you can buy subscribers. So look at those big guys in the truth movement. I can name them all. They have 40,000 plus subscribers. Look at the views they have on their video. These guys have bought subscribers, that's for sure. Just to I don't know. There's guys out there that I can name them that they want to make money with that or something.
Oh
But
Maybe the
yeah.
first game.
it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they buy subscribers. I
No,
listened
yeah, it
to
does matter. It has an effect on your brain. It has a subconscious, whether you want to admit it or not, it has an effect on you because when I go on YouTube and I see I've got cut in it myself, that's why I'm exposing it. I've been cut in it myself, looking at someone and say, hey, he has 50,000 subscribers. Oh, there's someone on YouTube. No, 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 no. Means nothing today. Means nothing because you can buy your subscriber. You
And
can buy 1,000 subscribers for $80 on any site.
yeah, and
So
you know,
imagine.
we know that the numbers are definitely being dinked with, and information
Yeah.
that they don't want to become super popular, they will throttle back the amount of views and the amount of subscribers and the notifications because they want to slow down. They're not going to completely try and stop it, but they want to slow it down and make it appear like it's much smaller than it is. I mean, you may have it's possible you could have 10,000 subscribers and not even know it. You know,
really?
so sure. I mean, there's no reason for them to. Nothing's making them be honest about all that stuff. You
Yeah,
know, I mean, if you,
like voting in this country.
yeah, I mean, it's so easy to rig those things. Just like on Facebook, there's companies that if you want more friends on Facebook, there's companies you
Yeah.
pay them money, and next thing you know, you've got 5, 10,000 friends on Facebook. Of course, none of
Well,
that.
you know what happens with my first video? The first video that I ever made was my most successful video. It's just plainly it says a Persian woman speaks, yeah, and it speak from the depth of my heart. It was something that I had held in me for like 50 years, and it finally had to come out, right? And then it came out so elegantly, and at one point I hit 65,000 views, right? And then I was like, whoa, this is really amazing. And then one day, and all of the sudden on YouTube, it was only 40,000 views on the same video.
Yeah,
And it's like,
that's
what?
Yeah.
that proves it right
I
there.
lost 25,000 views, and now it has again gone up to like 64,000 views, but it doesn't go up anymore. It's
Yeah,
so weird.
You see? It
yeah.
doesn't go up anymore. Why? You know, the video was 65,000 views. It stopped there. Like, it's
That's
crazy. They play with the number. They play with everything on YouTube.
Yeah.
that's
Anyway, me, all my subscribers, and anyway, me, I don't want to have tons of subscribers. I don't want to create followers. Like, you want to follow the show and stuff like that, you're more than welcome. But I mean, it's to create leaders. We need more leaders, not followers.
yeah. We want everybody to be their own leader.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
Be your own
I just,
guru.
I just,
Yeah,
No?
I just saw a video of Jaronism. He's just came out a video about awakening of the flat Earth, and he was very, very awesome. He said, "Don't even talk about shields or who has doing what or what. Don't even pay attention to that. Put all your effort onto exposing the truth, because we can spend so much time talking about, this person did that and this
Him,
person
her.
said that on a
Yeah.
flat earth video." And he said, that time could be given into exposing the psychopaths who are controlling our world. That was really awesome. Please see that
yeah.
video. It was really top notch quality video. So I
No,
appreciate it.
when you start bashing, it's your vibration that goes low. You cannot be on a vibration of bashing people. It's not sane. It's not sane for you, first of all. You want to rise above the negative things. There's so much negative things. Like, you sent me an article before. I think you posted that on Facebook, more about the pedophilia and stuff like that. There's so
Yeah.
much satanic stuff happening in this world. It's crazy. It's like, okay, flat Earth is a positive enlightenment, but there's a lot of negative things also that these people are doing behind the scene, and sometimes it's not even behind the scene; it's in plain sight. You can see it on YouTube, not the pedophilia, it's not, but the howl in Bohemian Grove and all that. All the truth is exposed there. So, but yeah, there's so much satanic stuff associated with those people. Crazy. No?
Yep.
So I send that thing
Yeah.
to both of you about the pedophile rings and everything, and this all this whole transgender and transsexuality and exaggerated sexuality that's going on in the world. As this is becoming really ugly. I just wanted to hear what you guys have to say about that.
It's really ugly. I'll let Jimmy start.
Well, again, they'll always keep throwing stuff up to keep people's minds occupied. It's always the new scandal. This is just the latest edition of the watch the bouncing ball. So you never look at what we're doing over here. You know, just pay attention to transgender bathrooms and all these crazy people, and that way you won't see how we're screwing you over in the entire country. There's always going to be distractors. There's always going to be sensational things, the gossip, you name it. It's part of
Yeah,
the
but the pedophile rings are not a gossip. That is one
no,
of the darkest places of
No, but
what's happening on Earth.
no, and they're gradually trying to shift the mindset of people into accepting that kind of behavior as being somehow normal. It's so bizarre, but they're seriously efforting at that right now to try and change people's minds about it slowly, and make them think that it's okay, and especially with that, they're, I don't know if they passed that law or they're trying to pass that law making pedophilia legal. That's insane. That's absolutely insane.
it's
Um,
a,
these people that run the world, they are not, the average human being cannot fathom that kind of evil. And that's why a lot of people have such a difficult time grasping, the things that go on, because they themselves are not like that. So they can't imagine that others could be that way. But they
exactly.
are. And they're worse than you can even imagine. They have no conscience whatsoever. But at the same time, they're the most charming people because they've learned how to manipulate. It's just like you see the Bill Clintons and the Barack Obama. Barack Obama, very articulate, very well spoken. Seems like such a nice guy. You listen to him and he says the right things. He has children come to visit the White House. I mean, this is all just image building. Has nothing to do with anything that's going on. And although he's just a puppet, he's the corporate spokesperson, for the powers that are. He nonetheless, he is the front man and the personality. And people believe that personality rather than looking at what they're actually doing, like bombing the crap out of people. Still over in the Middle East, we've got all these private Blackwater type companies over there still killing people and raping, pillaging, and plundering all over the Middle East and other parts of the world. But as long as people are focused on, they used to call it the cult of personality, and not actually watching what they do, we're going to have people just not getting it at all, because they think the person is a good person because of the personality they project, the act, the mask that they wear.
Yeah, and they also made the illusion so big that the lie is so big
That's
that I
true.
think we've been unscapated to decipher the bullshit in there. We're just under massive amnesia, massive hypnosis, and I was like that. I don't judge anybody. I was under that hypnosis 2 years ago. I was like that, working like a crazy madman, 70 hours a week. So it's not because I'm different than others. We all walk the path of life. We all do the journey, but at one point we have to wake up, because there's something going on there. Wow,
And also I just
just
wanted
so
to add
mind
one.
blowing.
I just wanted to add one thing to it, because a lot of times we see like the soldier that is killing as the problem, but we don't see the people, his family that seemingly are nice people back at home, as nice people that don't know the big event. But you see, I see the same fault in all of it, because the person who is very nice but it's very quiet and is unwilling to learn that what a heavy duty darkness is being shed upon their families in the whole world, or how their family is killing people on the other side of the world, they are as faulty as that guy that is fighting.
sure if you it's not knowing the truth doesn't make you an ignorant, but not wanting to know the truth is what makes you an ignorant. You have to want to know the truth. You have to search the truth. What the heck are you doing here? If you're not, you don't want to know the truth about first who you are. And come on, me. Sometimes I just see that society go outside. I'm like, hello, there's my people. Wake up, stay away from Babylon evil. Stay
You know,
away.
I
They're
think
evil.
I think people. One thing that could be helpful, and what I try and do is I try and look at my life as if I've already lived it, and I look back and say, okay, what did I do with my life? Did I just go along to get along, and just kind of hid in my own little corner of the world and did my own little thing and just tried to, shy away from anything challenging? Or did I get out there and share the truth to the best of my ability? And I don't want to go through this life and say, I could have really done a lot more. I could have really had a more positive impact on the world if I would have just done this. So if we look at our lives in that way, I think there's a bit of a motivation, hopefully, for some people to say, the lives go by fast. And, of course, none of us want to have confrontation. We don't want to have, these be put in jail and all these other things happen to us. But you got to consider, you came here for a reason. You didn't come here to just go along to get along. We came here to try and do something with this place and make it a little better. At least that's the way I feel. So, if everybody can contribute, even in a small way, we're going to make huge strides. And we've been made into such passive people, especially with the New Age movement. It's like, only look at the positive, never look at the negative. They say it gives it power. It's just the opposite. It gives it power if you just ignore it and let it grow on its own. You have to confront it and stop it. Say, no, we're not taking this bullshit.
It's kind of like letting the black mold grow in your house, and just you pretend as if like, oh no, there is no mold in this house. Just be positive. Just have a great time in this house.
Yeah.
It's not possible. The mold will get all over the house then. And that's what has happened with this black goo, pedophile, dark, psychotic people, that we have allowed to come to power. And the only reason we have allowed it is because we have forgotten who we are and what are our powers. And as Jimmy, you're saying, I think the power of faith is very important. And we have to have faith that we have enough power to deal with this. Not only we have enough power to deal with this, we have the power to shift it.
But it's also, like Jimmy said, it's very hard for people to grasp the amplitude of their evilness stuff, because we're not evil ourselves. We're not killing people. We're not psychopaths in power. So it's very hard for us that have love in our hearts to see those things happening. But they are happening all over the world. There is child being abducted all over the world. Like, why do you think also they like to put it in the news also when children get abducted? They put it in the news, and for some reason, several years after, they find the body or stuff like that. Like, it's just sensationalism. We've been addicted to sensationalism, I think, as a human race. And we're just gone astray now. We're gonna astray big time. We lost our way. But slowly, little by little, we're getting back into the track, like Jimmy said, and it's the most wonderful time to be alive because we're waking up. Me, I feel it every day. First of all, I feel it vibrationally because I emit thoughts, and thoughts have power. So I know I'm more, but I know I'm much more also than what I think I am. I know that's why I say there's more than that. There's got to be more than just I'm gonna be on a quest, unlimited quest for truth until I end up a star in the sky or something, because there's so much things to say, so much to learn. But we also have to unlearn. That's the most hardest thing, I think, is to unlearn, because like I told you, I recently got a telescope and I look at the moon and I still see it spherical. I have problems seeing it like a disc. Like we've been programmed so freaking deep that I know it's not what they say it is. You cannot go land on the moon. You'll probably get frozen if you go too close to the moon. You'll freeze, and if you go too close to the sun, you'll burn. So I don't think they can go either way to one another. It's impossible, I think, to get near them. So just that, I'm sure you freeze if you go close to the moon because the light is cold. It's a cold light, and if you stand under the moonlight, it's very cold. It's colder than the sunlight. So probably if
Yeah,
you go closer, closer,
but the
maybe
light
she's
could
very, very
be
cold.
sure, and then a light could also be spherical. I don't have anything against moon being spherical. It could be either a disc or a spherical. It doesn't matter. It's just not a physical place to go and land on
No,
it fakely,
no, but I
especially on
look
the
at it.
Hollywood stage.
What it is then the moon, because that's another thing. The moon is still very, very mysterious to me because the moon rise, but have you ever seen the moon set? No,
The moon, yes.
the moon doesn't set. The
What do
moon
you
disappears.
mean?
The moon
What?
doesn't set on the horizon. You've seen the moon set on the horizon, you?
Yes, I have seen a lot of pictures of the setting of the moon.
The rising of the moon, not
No,
the
also the
setting of the
setting.
moon.
No, it's been large when the moon is really, really, really large and is right at the horizon, and people take pictures like with their whole body in the middle of the moon. Yes, I've seen a lot of
So you
pictures.
mean for us it would be the rising of the moon, but for other people would be the setting of the moon on the other side of the plane?
I don't know, just exactly like the
Because
sun. Whatever. What do you, Jimmy? What do you think about that?
I've never looked into that. I really don't know. Uh, that's an interesting
like I
question,
was
though.
looking at the moon yesterday, and I was like, okay, I see it rise. I see it rise on the horizon, but I never seen it set. It just disappear all the time. Where does it go? Look at the moon. Look at the moon all night. Go moon gazing all night. Fix the moon with your telescope with your eyes, and you're gonna see at one point she disappear.
Huh.
She doesn't even set. The sun is very easy to see the pattern of the sun in the sky and over the flat Earth because we see it rise and we see it set with the perspective effect. But you don't see that with the moon. I don't see the moon. The moon disappear at one point. I just lose it.
That is so weird. Now that you're saying it, I can't remember, but I have seen many
May,
pictures of the moon setting. I don't know. I can't remember it
maybe
for my own life. I can't
Maybe I'm
remember.
wrong. Maybe I'm wrong in what I say. Maybe, but I'm just telling you. Look at it because I don't think I ever seen the moon set. So what is the moon does up there? Like, and also her altitude is varying a lot. Like the size is varying, so our altitude must be varying. There's so much to discover, so much, but that's why it's exciting. That's why it's good to research the truth because you feel reborn again. That's how I
Yes.
feel. I'm sure,
Yes.
Jimmy, you felt that the same the first time you came in contact with that information. It's like, fuck, I'm
Oh yeah.
reborn.
Oh yeah. And not only that, you want to, the first inclination you have is to run out and share it with all your family and friends, and then you discover that's the worst thing you can ever
Yes.
do.
Yes.
Because you will immediately be just shunned and called crazy by everybody you know. And
Yeah.
that's literally what happened to me because I was so excited to learn these things. I was very compelled to share it with all my loved ones because I thought this is so exciting. We should all know this. And then
Yeah.
you run up against that program, and the people look at you like you're out of your flipping mind, and they just don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Um, and I've never really lost that passion. It came to me, around 1990, and I still have that fire. And every time I learn something new, and the flat Earth really rekindled that. And still today, every time I learn something new, I'm very excited about it and want to learn more.
But what I mean is that okay, we've been researching a lot of truth like aliens and stuff like that and all the hoaxes, the dinosaur and all that. But the flat Earth is touching really each and every one of us because we all stand on this Earth. We all live on this Earth. We all breathe this air. So it's touching each and every one of us. Nobody cannot be touched by it or be absorbed by some way by it because come on, okay, you what? You don't live here? You live on another plane? No, we all live on planet Earth. All about us. But oh my, so much work to do. But it's a great awakening. I keep saying it all the time. It's the greatest time to be alive. Greatest time to be alive. I'm so happy to be alive. To just being able to tear down that Babylon system now that I understand what it is because it's the system. It's the system. You have to understand the system behind all this crap, behind all this mind control stuff. You know, they don't come and knock at your door to control your mind.
They don't have to.
Buy the very own thing to control your mind. So that's another thing.
Yeah, and the way it's designed, this system, it's self-controlling because your own friends and family will attempt to put you in line.
Control you, exactly.
You know, they will very much try and control your mind. You don't have to have Big Brother come knocking at your door. Your own family will tell you what you should be thinking and not thinking. And a lot of people are so afraid, you know, to stick their neck out and to say what they really think because of what other people will say. And you've got to get over that fear. You know, if you want to be an authentic human being and make an impact in the world, you have to let that go. You have to be willing to say, I don't care what anybody thinks of me. My intention is good. My intent is to be of service to humanity and to share the truth, and that's it. And if along the way people get angry and they get upset about what I say, that's their problem. That's their conditioning that they have to deal with. So,
but you know,
we have to be who we are.
What?
We have to be who we are. Period.
Yeah.
We can't fake it.
Yeah, you know,
you can't fake it. Exactly.
That's right. I had this discussion today about being insignificant or not being insignificant with this person that I'm introducing to the flat earth. And he was saying, well, why were you feeling insignificant before the flat earth? I said, well, it's because it's in the psyche, you know, of humanity to feel insignificant. And it's not under our control, really, to think that way. And it's also not conscious. It's not like a conscious control that you're walking around being insignificant. No, it's in deep it's in deep psyche that you're insignificant, and it doesn't matter what you do, it's not going to come up to anything. And you know, I think his question was that, okay, why would you feel significant now? Maybe you were insignificant in some other areas of your life too, you know. And I was like, no, I'm telling you that since I know about flat earth, something humongous has changed inside of me. Something that nothing else, no relationship, no expeditions in adventures somewhere, no drugs could have really done this. This is substantial in the way of making me as a human being to come out of insignificant into significance.
And this is happening because you relate very, very naturally and easily to the oneness. To the oneness. The fact that we are one consciousness. And the moment you start realizing that we're all brothers and sisters, hello, all those things become very clear very fast. But if you live in an illusion of separation, whether it's your religion or other stuff that keep you separated from the masses, you call yourself a flat earther or whatever, you separate yourself from the mass. Don't give yourself no tag, no name, no nothing. Just be, and don't be fake.
Excuse me,
you know,
no, we have been calling ourselves flat earthers. You're very proud of being a flat earther.
I know, but I don't like to call myself a flat earther because I separate myself from the rest of the masses, and I don't know. I'm part of it. You know, you can only be an immaculate member of a herd of sheep if you're a sheep yourself. If you're not a sheep, you cannot be an immaculate member of a herd of sheep. And I'm not different than anybody else out there. I have no interest of judging anybody that's asleep. Nobody. I was there. So all I can do is help
Okay.
the
I
maximum people
always,
see the light and find their light, because you have to find your light. It's not something that's going to be coming and knock at your door to find the light, and you have to seek, find, and realize, first of all,
you
that you
know,
are the light.
that's true. And I always strive for oneness and feeling that we are all oneness. But at the same time, if we are preaching oneness to each other or practicing oneness, what about all these pedophiles? I mean, I don't want to be one with them.
No, that's the no, but that's the one consciousness, the universal mind I'm referring to, more than being one with pedophiles. But we are all part. Even those people are part of this. Oh, like us. Like uh, I don't think they're necessary. Believe me, I
I
don't think they're necessary. But
I think they've been hijacked, is what I think, because it is not in the normal human nature to act anything like that. It's, our divine nature is to be compassionate and loving and cooperative and caring and all that. That's who we are. But when we get into this realm, there are all the unseen forces that have a huge impact, and that's something that's not acknowledged. So, religions talk about it. The Christians talk about demons. The Islamic people talk about the jinn, and there are references to these non-physical entities. But the worst psychopaths of the world, they're not driving their car. They're not the captain of their ship. There's some entity that's making them do what they do, and has hijacked their vehicle. And I'm totally convinced that that's exactly what goes on. So the human part of that soul, if there's anything left in there at all, is been completely squashed down and stifled. Otherwise, they would never be able to do what they do. So basically their vehicle, their physical vehicle that we use to interact in this world has been hijacked. So that's the way I view all these psychopaths that are in the world. It's not them running the ship. The original person that incarnated, that's not them in charge of what's going on. That's some entity or group of entities that are using their physical vehicle to interact in this world, because they're not physical. So they have to use physical vessels to accomplish what they want to do in this world, and to get us to, give them energy.
that's
And
interesting.
But then
I,
it,
I,
huh.
I always been attracted to that theory, because to me, I have very, very big problem understanding how can a human being act like that, because I'm not like that. You're not. Nobody I know is like that. So that part always, and David Icke is very hard on that. The, maybe that's a way of shape shifting. That's maybe I interpret it as shape shifting one way, another person interpret it another way, but for
well,
sure they've been hijacked. I believe they've been hijacked some way. Then.
I think that it's these entities, they can be right in your field, like right here, and basically manipulating your thoughts, or they can actually integrate fully right into your body. And I think that's when you have the shape shifting appear, because their energy then is like a layer on top of your body. So I think that's what people see when that energy actually fully integrates into the body, rather than just being right with it in the field,
Yeah.
because they don't have to be inside the body to manipulate it. As long as they're in your field and you're not aware of them, they can do what they do. But people that have self-realization and know who they are and know their divinity, it doesn't work on them.
Exactly.
And so we are able to see things for what they are, because we don't have these entities, stopping our ability to expand our awareness.
And to
Well,
see
I
clear,
have
to
I
see
have a
crystal clear.
I have a little bit of not a different view, but maybe a question about that. Okay, I think since the three-dimensional level of the Earth is a dimension of choice, and we have a choice whether we want to go into the darkness or stay in the light. I think both the darkness and the light are parts of all of us. Even though if we're nice, we also still have that dark part inside of us that we cannot deny. So I think this whole thing about thinking that entities either destroy us or save us. It's been an illusion of humanity that it's some other causes that could be doing this, meaning that it's either something attacks us and we are not good anymore, or it is that these other good people or good entities are going to save us. Okay, it's still a messiah complex, either in the negative way or in a positive way. So what I want to bring into my own consciousness is that as a God being, I have a choice to go to the underworld and mix up with all these entities of darkness, or I can go to the heavens within my soul and bring in all the goodness. That's why this is such a difficult place of choice, and it's not easy for all of us. I mean, a lot of people echoing very bad. A lot of it is echoing very bad. I don't know what to do.
No, it's
Do
not
you?
that bad here.
Okay, so a lot of people that are seemingly nice and they have never done anything bad, all of the sudden, if something happens to their money, all of the sudden their evil comes up. I mean, I have
Yeah,
seen that. I'm not kidding. I've seen that in many
that's a
people
good
that,
point you're bringing there.
yeah, like I was in relationship with few people that I thought they were angels, right? But then something happens, whether it has to do with money or something, and all of the sudden the same beautiful people are gross evils you can never imagine. So like also what you were saying, Jimmy, like all these people that live very soft life, and maybe they give some charities, maybe they adopt a girl or whatever, but they agree with dropping a bomb on Iraqis, but God forbid if a bomb is dropped on them, they will go under any order to make a military government empowered enough to go kill millions of people. So we have to know that this is us. It's us as gods. We have either the choice to be a destructive God, or we can be a constructive God. It's not other entities, really.
Well,
But I believe I don't know there. I believe there's light spectrum or frequencies that we don't see. That there's some that we don't hear. So there is stuff that we don't see outside in the field. Like there, it's very me. I believe it's very possible. Beside me, there's another world like interacting directly with me. Who knows? Who knows? But I think it doesn't end just with my sight of vision, and that's all there is out there. Because first of all, I think our vision is inverted; that we see upside down or something like that. So just that is mind blowing.
Yeah, well, there are other things, there are other beings, absolutely. And that's why the ancient flat earth model, some of the ancient
Yeah.
flat earth model says that the underworld is actually under this world and over whatever the heavens are above us. So it could make very sense. And here we are in the middle because we have a choice. Do we want to go to the underworld or we want to rise?
No, that's a good point you're bringing there. And we're in the middle. You have the choice, either good or bad. We've been given the choice.
I think, though, that there are people who have not consciously chosen to go to the dark side, but have in fact been hijacked. I don't think that everybody has the opportunity to fully make a conscious choice like that. Sure, there are plenty who do, but there are circumstances. You can be drugged, you can be hypnotized. There's so many things that can be brought to bear on you to affect you in such a way that you have no idea if it's even going on. So yes, I would say overall, the people have a choice who they want to serve or what they want to serve. But there are plenty of circumstances where people are controlled and manipulated, and if you ask them, they would say, hell no, I never chose that. I never wanted to do that. But they have been hijacked one way or another, and that's real. It's real in the world. You can't deny, you can't say, well, they just wanted to serve the dark. It's not true. There are plenty of technologies that can hijack a person. There are entities that can hijack a person without their conscious consent. And it takes an extremely powerful and strong person to rebound from that and regain their own sovereignty again. Some people can do it, but most can't.
Well, that's the extreme of when a world goes out of balance into the darkness, and
Yeah.
that's where our world is. So when a world has gone polarized to one side, so it's not yin and yang anymore. Yin is not giving to the yang, and they don't hold each other's hearts anymore. It has become so dark that the dark is now eating the light. That's how I see it, and that's why it's more important at this time to wake up
But
and know that what?
I don't think it will ever come to a point that the darkness will overcome the light. I think we always gonna light, shine more light than the darkness because we live in something that's divine. It's divine out there. We're all divine. Everything is divine. So it be to do with light. So I don't believe. I don't. I know we're shining more and more light as the day goes on. So the darkness at one point, but like Jimmy was saying, it doesn't take much people to gather around that idea of coming together. We don't need 5 billion people to wake up. Just a few, like a couple million, and we're in business. We just need to wake up some people in some parts of the planet Earth, and because internet is not accessible everywhere for everybody either, but it make people aware of that truth. Make people aware of the truth. But also
Well, that
we have to understand that it's not but it's pretty much in every country that they're taught about the globe and all that, but I think there's some places that it's might be less enforced than what it is in Canada and US.
um okay,
Here
well,
we're Canada and US were under massive programming.
Lovey, I mean, that's why this is the time that humanity has to wake up. Because if we were all awake, our world situation wouldn't be what it is. Of course, the power of light is huge. Yet, we have given the power of light to the power of darkness so much in this world that this world is being directed by psychopaths. We know that it's more war than peace in this world.
Yeah.
So because it is so off of balance, that's why whoever that is coming to the light and waking up to that consciousness, that it takes the 100 people phenomena, the 100 monkey phenomena to wake up the rest of the world, we have to be very powerful, not letting any entities to get us, because those same entities are coming through the wire system, the electromagnetic fields, and everything. We have to just know we're protected.
And the entities like you were talking about, it's also, you remember what the guy did, the analysis of your video, you had a plasma light coming out of you, no? That's an entity. That's what we're talking about. No?
He said it was a good entity, thank God.
Exactly, but there is, there is so much, I don't know, Jimmy, if you saw the video I'm talking about of Mar, but there's one of her video, there's a plasma thing coming to shoot right out of her shoulder. If you found the frame of the video, you can really see it, like whoa. And there's a guy that spotted for her. He did a video about it.
Yeah, just do Marmar Queen plasma, and you will see it. They reduce the speed of the because this guy is an expert in seeing plasma being, but he says plasma being is not bad things. He saw this light coming out of my shoulder and going across the stage, and he says that he sees that sometimes, but they won't show themselves if they're very destructive.
Well, I don't know if you guys remember the Polaroid cameras that we used to have.
Yeah.
But for some reason, those are the instant ones that would develop, the film real quickly within 60 to 120 seconds, and you had your picture right away before digital, before all that technology. I remember taking pictures back in the 80s and 90s with those cameras, and many times you would see swirls of all kinds of energy. There was something to do with that film that it could pick up more frequencies. So many times you take it what you think is a very ordinary picture, you know, and I have a few of them laying around somewhere, some of me where I've got these swirls of energy coming out of my head, my body, and it's I think maybe that's one of the reasons they did away with that technology, that old film technology, is because it has a wider spectrum that it can pick up, and the cameras now are more focused into the visible light realm that we see with our eyes, you know, constantly. And you know, speaking of that, we were Mara and I were talking about it yesterday. The electromagnetic spectrum chart. If you look at one of those, you know, as a 180-degree chart, you got basically sound at one end, which is light, but we perceive that light with our ears. And then as it goes up, there's all these different frequencies, and the amount of visible light that we see with our physical eyes is a tiny sliver of what the whole spectrum is. It's so small, you know, it's just like this little tiny, if it's this wide, the whole spectrum, we see a sliver this big. So we have to know that there's way more out there than we can ever imagine. And so I think some of those old film cameras and the Polaroids in particular, because I noticed quite a few of those, they really pick up some of those other frequencies. Now, whether those frequencies are our thoughts being projected out as light or they're actual entities, who knows, you know, and it could be a combination of the two. We don't really know.
It's much more than what we've been taught. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, we're not taught nothing of this in school or whatever. The plasma being, first time I heard about that was with Mark Queen. I'm like, okay, like, no, but you know, we should. That's the kind of stuff we should really become more conscious to as a whole, to start teaching the children the truth and stop lying to them. So me, it touches me because I have 3 on my own. So it really touches me when it comes to the children, because if someone can change the world, is the future generation, is the one to come. It's, you know, the best thing you can do if you're a parent, the best thing you can do is to tell the truth to your children. What are you afraid of? Especially if you know it, but many people are caught up in illusion. Also, they don't know that they don't know. It's profound. The general population doesn't even know what's happening, but they don't know. So how are you gonna?
That's it. They don't know. That's a great saying, because you just don't know what you don't know.
they don't know what's happening, and they don't even know that they don't know. So the illusion is so deep. The rabbit hole goes so deep. But that's why when I came out to the flat earth, because I'm like, okay, the flat earth is something that can really touch people. Come on, they're saying stuff on TV, NASA and all that they're going in space, and it's all fake. It's all fake. Like, come on. Yeah, it is all fake.
Yeah, one more thing that I wanted to say, as Jimmy said about the spectrum, you know, all this whole full spectrum, there's only one piece of it, is very small piece that we can see with our eyes. The rest of it we are not aware of. And it's the same thing with the subconscious mind. You know, the reason that humanity has fallen to such a deep level is because the subconscious mind has been taken under control, you know, and with a very, very specific agenda. So even the best of us, if we can open up that whole brain of subconscious, we'll see there's tons of worms in it because you know, those worms are like the subconscious things that are eating us, okay, that you're nothing, you're not powerful enough, there's nothing you can do, you know, all those things, and you're disempowered, you know, that's going on all the time. Unless we bring that to the light and to that little spectrum of knowingness, that look, I want to choose my programming. It's not going to change, and that's why most of the humans are not shifting, because the subconscious is controlling us.
Yeah, I know more and more today doing my life work that I've been running my life according to my subconscious mind all my life. That's what I've been doing. I never had a conscious thought all my life and say, I want to do my life work. Now it's no, but now suddenly, whoa, I'm awake, and now it's the time to live my dream, and that's what it is. But and I don't know where to put that. No, hypnosis from birth. Bang, 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 with shot to vaccines, all kinds of stuff, circumcision, all kinds of stuff, and to keep us under the spell. Under the spell. That's why we're spelling words. You know, the words are a spell on us. To the vocabulary, everything is a spell. So you want to rise above those negative things and live your dreams and manifest your greatness and manifest your greatness. That's all I came to do here on YouTube is manifest my greatness. We all have that greatness, and we all have so much more inside us than we ever think possible that we can express, that we can put out to the world, but we, Jimmy said it before, the biggest prison we live here is the fear of what other people's gonna think of us, because that's what stopped me from a long time from coming out, is the fear of what other people think of me. But the moment you break out from that, you're free like a bird, and flapping your wings and you fly high.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing now. I can't care less what people think of me. I'm just doing my thing. And but a lot of people, the majority of the people, they're caught up in this, especially on, I remember the first time when I started to express myself on Facebook, it was something. I was getting nervous posting stuff on Facebook because I was like, oh, what people's gonna think of, before at the beginning of, I've been put under mass programming like everybody, so I had fear to conquer, but that was part of it, Facebook and all kinds of stuff. But now I just there freely speak my mind. But that's what I want to bring other people to do, is to really not care what other people think of you. We have one life to live. What are we going to do? Worry about what people think of us?
Exactly.
Yeah,
But I did it all
exactly.
my life. I've done it all my life until the age of 40. It's crazy, crazy, crazy.
And that's great. And you just mentioned Facebook. Jimmy was telling me something about Facebook yesterday. That Jimmy, what did you say? That who owns Facebook besides the CIA that we know, but who started it?
Well, NASA and the CIA funded the whole thing. That Zuckerberg guy, he's just a front man, just like Obama's a front man for the corporation that is the United States of America. He's not the genius behind Facebook. They always have a front man or a front woman, a person that people can focus on as being, the entity, because they will never come out and tell you the truth because they want to hide the intention of it. And, things like the internet and Facebook and all the social media platforms, they're really double-edged swords, because on one hand, they're massive information gathering systems for these Cray computers and these other supercomputers that they have, so they can fully engineer society. That's why they allowed this to proliferate, because they want to know every day what we're thinking. And they want to know if they're losing ground or gaining ground in their programming. So that's how they could gauge it, by having all of us interacting with the internet in various ways. So they know exactly what we're thinking. They know what the trends are. They know what truth is coming out, what's being stifled, all of that. But at the same time, we're using it for our purposes, which is to help free humanity, to help share the truth and help empower other people to find their own light and to be their own beacon in the world, as opposed to looking outside of themselves for validation from other people, which is the way society is programmed.
Oh, that's great. And that's the same thing also said about the chemtrails and the HARP. Someone was telling me that with the HARP, they're magnetizing these antennas in the body, because when these super metallic particles from the chemtrails go into our body, then they use the HARP not only to make these formations, but also to make antennas in our body, so we become alive antennas for them to program us. So this person was saying, isn't that interesting, that if we can use their same technology, they have built antennas in our bodies, so let's program those antennas to the reverse of what works.
Yeah, that's what I said that a couple weeks ago. I said that technology that we've all ingested, we've breathed it in, it's in our skin, it's in our food, and according to that German guy, Klaus Welle, I forget his last name, but he said that we have 3 different technologies that have been introduced. The first was the fibers, that causes the Morgellons disease in people. We all
Yeah,
have the
yeah.
fibers, and these attach themselves to our nerve synapses. Then there's a cysteine crystal that was the next nanotechnology that they introduced. And now they're spraying us with the RNA technology, which directly has
Genetic
a
material.
yeah, it directly affects your genetic material and your DNA. But they haven't actually fully activated it. They've made us all into receivers and transmitters for this information. And they can certainly get information from us using the nanotechnology that we've all ingested. But just as they could program us with some super bad, horrible mind control negativity, I think it's very possible that we can program ourselves and each
Yes.
other with the truth and enlightenment and then expanded consciousness as well. So that could go either way at some point too.
Yeah,
And I
because
wonder, yeah, I'm sure they've thought of that, but just when we talk about double-edged swords, that definitely could be another one.
So that's again goes into the subconscious and the conscious. So if you're conscious, because so many people even deny that there are chemtrails, right? So
Yeah.
if you're conscious that there are chemtrails, and we are conscious that, oh, okay, let's deal with this reality. There are antennas in our bodies. Okay, let's use our super conscious mind to program these antennas to do like magnificent heavy duty magnification of the opposite of the darkness and destruction on the earth. It's choice. It's the human choice. We are empowered if we wanted to do that.
Yeah, and I think
for
consciousness trumps technology any day of the week. Consciousness is always more powerful than any technology.
Yeah, exactly.
but yeah, because we are the proof also by coming like that, not only online, but yeah, expressing, elevating the consciousness of humanity is a must. Is a must. We cannot avoid it, and it's by coming out like that and expressing the truth, speaking your truth. Speak your truth. I don't know what the heck you're speaking, but speak your truth.
Okay, well,
That's
it's
the
been
most.
it was been 1.5 hours. Do you want to continue, or we're kind of
No,
done?
that's good like that. That's good like that. Too long. We gotta be conscious of the attention span of the majority of people. We want to touch the maximum people possible, so but also too long sometime. I don't
Well,
know. I
and
don't.
since we are all together right now together, let's connect our minds together and our hearts together and make a triangle of very effective electromagnetic fields that goes from our triangle into the hearts and souls of all the people who are watching this program right
Yeah,
now. Thank you for being here with us. And so
namaste.
let's magnify and be the molecules of shift on this plane.
That's great.
Aho.
Namaste, guys. It
Uh-huh.
was a pleasure to have you on the Mon Show again. I love to share vibes like that with great people like you, great mind, great the essence of life, the essence of why we're alive. So it's to connect and share the love and share the inspiration. And that's what more and more people are doing all over the earth. They're waking up and sharing inspiration. And that's what the world needs. We're getting there. We're getting there. But it's not going to happen overnight. It could happen overnight if everybody gather around the common goal. But
Yeah,
we're getting there. We're getting there. So it's to stay optimistic and to stay positive and make way for the positive day because it's coming. The positive day is coming. So it's just to make way for
beautiful.
it. But thanks a lot for coming on, Jimmy. It was a pleasure to meet you. And it was a great, great show again. And see you anytime soon. Maybe we do it again.
Thank you so much, Jan. It's such a pleasure to meet you, brother. And
Yeah,
such a
me too.
pleasure to be on with Mar. She's an amazing human being and such a wonderful light to the world. So I'm happy to be with you guys. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
Jimmy,
very much.
one more thing. When I heard you talking for the first time, I was like, okay, this man has to be absolutely in the circles of teaching. You have a lot of experience. I mean, just from your talk today, there is so much you know that we will love to spend some time with you and learn from you. And so I'm glad that you accepted this invitation.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
maybe we do it sometime again. We plan something together. Like it's the first time we come together, but I'm sure it's gonna be happening again because now we're just gonna connect and share more information all together, and it's Just rising and rising and rising, rise and shine. So we keep
Yes.
rising and shining.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.